African parents don't believe in dating, while in America they value dating. For example, in America, parents don't put pressure about where you want to get married. They allow their kids to decide anytime they want to live their life, and they have the right to live. But in Africa, they will remind you as many times as you can. All right. Thank you. My name is Oyebanji Akins, and we're live on CTDAMONGBLACKS. Again, on this particular episode, like I've been doing lately, I promise not to take your time and not to rush my words for you to understand what I'm about to say. What am I trying to bring to your attention today, wherever you might be listening to me, or maybe you're watching me right now? I just wanted to give me a couple of some minutes. I promise not to take more than 15 of your time. So, with that being said, what I'm going to be discussing on this particular episode is communication gap between African parents and their children in abroad. It's been a common conversation that I've been able to have with a lot of youth in America, in the sense that you'll be shocked about things most young people are experiencing when they're in America. A lot of parents doesn't count or put some things in value or perspective for them to really think. Like, okay, you know what, if I'm sending my kids to America or to maybe London or to France or to Europe, anywhere it might be, or to Asia, for them to go have some extra knowledges. Do we always, I'm using the word, do they always forget to realize there's a way of life in those places those kids are going? So, with that being said, I'm going to be touching on some things that a lot of people doesn't think is very important, but they carry a lot of weight. Number one thing is the expectation of African parents when they send their children to abroad. A lot of parents send their children to abroad for different reasons. Some are sending them to abroad so that they can come back home to come and be the one to handle their personal business. Some send their kids to abroad because they are expecting them to be the one to change how it's being done in their family. So everybody have different ways of how they projected how they have children to be when they send them to abroad. But the question is this: as a parent, have you ever thought about how those kids are going to embrace that kind of lifestyle you're sending them to? Have you ever sit down to understand the nitty-gritty that comes with an African child that was being sent to America to come and school, in the sense of understanding how Americans live their life, the hours being put to work, the system of how they read, kind of how they arrange their books, the kind of ways of you trying to rate your lecturer to even know the class you're supposed to be. There's a lot that has been entailed sometimes that most parents doesn't even put in preference, but they expect so much from their kids. Another thing I'll be putting into preferences: African parents don't believe in dating, while in America they value dating. Yes, I move so quick from one question. Yeah, it's something I know you want me to go deep in that one, but I'll leave that to you to have that conversation with your parents. Be that girl, be that parent that want to ask their kids, like, what have you been able to experience since you've been in America? What has been your experience since you've been in London? When was the last time you really asked your kids? And when they are telling you their truth, how do you value their truth? Like I said, when it comes to dating, American parents have a time age they expect you to marry. When you're getting close to that age, especially for the ladies, they're about to start reminding you, so what is happening with you? Do you want to tell us you don't have a boyfriend? Now the problem is you asking them is not a problem, but do you understand, for example, in America, parents don't put pressure about where you want to get married. They allow their kids to decide anytime they want to live their life, and they have the right to live. But in Africa, they will remind you as many times as you can. Now don't get me wrong, you gotta be 18 though before you try that in America too. So don't get that one twisted. But what I'm trying to make you understand, there's some things that when you send your kids to America or to London, that parent doesn't consider that they have to go through the Western world. Now, like I said, what am I mean by Western world? A lot of parents from Africa want to send their kids to abroad only to get Western knowledge, not Western lifestyle. Just think about it. How are you going to live it? How are you going to be in one country that you won't be influenced by how their culture is being done? So there's no way you want somebody to come to America to study American knowledge, to know America has been doing things, and you don't expect them to experience that Western world, which sometimes bring the gap between family, in the sense that a lot of things goes wrong and they don't even value it. Some kids has to go through a lot of cultural shock. When I mean cultural shock is so deep than how you can imagine, but it's a conversation you can just call your kids one day as a parent. Call them and ask them that question, like, how do you feel? How has it been since you've been in America? How has it been since you've been in London? What do you see and what do you understand? You'll be shocked about some things that will bring to your attention. I don't want to go back to my reputation about so many things, but there's some things I feel like both parents and the children need to have in mind. And that's what I'm going to be trying to round up this particular topic for today. And what is the main thing? Is compromise. As a kid, as a children, if they send you down to America to come and stuff, and you found out your parents are not trying to understand how things are being done in the country, but find a way to compromise in your way of life and be able to pass a message to them to understand. And for you as a parent, that when you send your kids to America, or you send them to London, or you send them to France, there's an expectation you want from them. But have you ever put in a preference by sitting down and asking yourself, are they the same kid that I brought down to this place? And when they're trying to tell you their truth, how are you trying to embrace it? There's a common ground. There's a time how you live your life back a couple of 20 years ago, 30 years ago. And the world we live in now is so fast that between 15 seconds, you must be able to confuse somebody on Instagram. That's the world we live now. You must be able to tell your truth to your kids, value them for their truth, and let us all have a balance, and the world will be a better place for us. Irrespective of where you might be, maybe in Africa, maybe in America, maybe in Europe, just have it in mind that just try to have that communication, and let's connect all the dots. My name is Oyebanji Akins, and this is CTD Among Blacks. If you have any things you would like to check us on www.ctdamongblacks. You can follow us on YouTube, you can follow us on Spotify, you can follow us on Apple, you can follow us on Amazon Music, and at the same time, we are now live on Audio Man. So anywhere you might be, try to reach out to us, and we're definitely going to reach out to you back as soon as possible. Try to make that connection. Love your parents and love your kids. Till next episode, thank you guys.